Welcome to DD History. Today we kick off one of the most legendary quests in all of Greek mythology, the story of Jason and the Argonauts. This isn't just any old story. It's packed with heroes, monsters, magic, and enough drama to rival any reality show. So buckle up, because we're about to set sail on a voyage full of adventure and ancient swagger. In episode 1, we took a good look at Jason's complicated backstory. We saw why Jason had to escape his uncle Peleus, basically because Peleus wasn't the kind of guy who liked sharing power, especially not with his own nephew. To keep Jason safe from his uncle's suspicious and not-so-friendly plans, Jason's mother sent him away to be raised by the legendary Chiron, a centaur who was part man, part horse, an all-wise teacher. Now, Chiron wasn't just any trainer. He was famous all across Greece for teaching some of the greatest heroes of their time, including Achilles and Hercules. Under Chiron's guidance, Jason learned archery, medicine, how to fight, and even the importance of staying calm when everyone around you is plotting your downfall. Imagine your babysitter having hooves and a bow and arrow, a little intimidating, but definitely effective. Fast forward, Jason eventually returned to his kingdom wearing only one sandal. Why one sandal? Because on his way back, he helped an old woman stuck in a muddy river, showing kindness and bravery. Turns out, that old woman was none other than the goddess Hera in disguise, testing Jason's character. Helping a mysterious old lady might sound like a random act of kindness, but in Greek mythology, you never know who might be watching or testing. When Jason arrived at the palace with his one sandal, his uncle Peleus immediately remembered a prophecy that warned, "Beware the man wearing one sandal, for he will be the cause of your downfall." Not exactly a welcome home moment. Instead of just handing over the throne or trying to make peace, Peleus sent Jason on what he thought would be an impossible quest, to retrieve the Golden Fleece. Now, the Golden Fleece is not your average trophy. It's the magical hide of a golden ram, said to have incredible powers. In some versions of the myth, it can heal wounds and protect its owner from harm. More importantly, possessing the Golden Fleece was a symbol of legitimate kingship, like having a divine seal of approval on your rule. But there's a catch. The Golden Fleece was kept in the far-off kingdom of Colchis, guarded by a fearsome, never-sleeping dragon. Getting it wouldn't be as simple as walking in and asking politely. Jason would have to sail across dangerous seas, face monsters, and outwit hostile kings to claim it. So Jason's task was clear but daunting. Travel to Colchis, overcome its dangers, and bring the Golden Fleece back to prove he was worthy of the throne, and maybe save his life in the process. Now Jason knew this wasn't a one-man mission. Even if he was brave and skilled, he'd need backup. Some serious backup. But how do you assemble a team for a quest that sounds more like a death sentence? Well, first off, Jason wasn't starting from scratch. Thanks to his time training with Chiron, he already had connections with some of the greatest heroes scattered around Greece. Chiron, remember, wasn't just a teacher. He was a mentor with ties to heroes and legends all over the place. It's likely he encouraged Jason to call on those old friendships. So Jason sent out word across Greece. Think of it as the ancient equivalent of posting a very urgent and dramatic message on every town square bulletin board, messenger pigeon, and grapevine. Heroes wanted, perilous sea voyage, monsters guaranteed, but glory awaits. Why would these legendary heroes drop everything and join a risky, possibly suicidal quest? Simple: adventure, fame, and sometimes boredom. Greek heroes loved a good challenge, especially one promising glory, magical treasures, and the chance to make history. Plus, some had their own reasons. Maybe they owed Jason or Chiron a favor, or they wanted to prove themselves, or simply because the gods whispered in their ears. Let's meet the crew Jason assembled. It was basically the Avengers of ancient Greece. Heracles. First, the one and only Heracles, or Hercules if you prefer the Roman version. This guy had wrestled lions, battled hydra heads, and cleaned giant stables that no one else wanted to touch. Heracles joined probably thinking the quest would be a nice break from his usual monster brawls. Though he was the muscle of the crew, Heracles had a tendency to get distracted, kind of like a superhero who forgets his phone at home and has to go back. Orpheus, he magical musician. Next, Orpheus, the rock star of ancient Greece. He played the lyre, a stringed instrument, but unlike modern musicians, his tunes could charm wild animals, move trees, and calm storms. Imagine the crew sailing into a storm and Orpheus just serenading the sea until the waves chill out. Talk about a handy skill. Castor and Polydeuces, Pollux, the twin warriors. The Dioscuri twins, Castor and Polydeuces, were experts in boxing and wrestling. These brothers were so close that their bond became legendary. In fact, they were given a special kind of immortality, sharing their lives between the heavens and earth. Atalanta was the only woman among the Argonauts, and arguably the fastest runner in all of Greece. Raised by bears and known for her fierce hunting skills, she could outrun any man. Useful when danger was chasing the ship. Though some heroes questioned having a woman aboard, Jason knew her skills were too valuable to ignore. Melager, the deadly spear thrower. Melager was a prince, famed for his hunting and spear-throwing skills. He led the famous Caledonian boar hunt, a perilous quest to slay a monstrous wild boar terrorizing the countryside. His courage and precision made him an indispensable part of the crew. Zetes and Calais, the Flying Brothers. Finally, the winged brothers Zetes and Calais joined the team. They could literally fly, giving the Argonauts a huge advantage in scouting and chasing away enemies like harpies. Bird-women monsters who made life miserable for some unlucky people they encountered. The rest of the crew were heroes with monster-slaying experience and survival skills, each bringing something unique. This wasn't just a boat ride, it was a gathering of Greece's mightiest legends. Some of these heroes were busy with their own adventures, but the promise of the Golden Fleece and the chance to be part of an epic quest was too good to pass up. For some, it was loyalty to Jason or respect for Chiron's mentorship. For others, it was just the lure of glory and a chance to be remembered forever. And so, one by one, the greatest heroes of Greece answered the call, ready to sail with Jason and face whatever awaited them. With his crew of legendary heroes gathered, Jason faced the next big challenge, getting a ship worthy of this epic voyage. You don't just take any old fishing boat when you're sailing into monster-infested waters and the unknown. Enter Argus, the master shipwright, basically the ancient world's top boat builder and all-around ship genius. Jason commissioned Argus to build a ship that could carry all 50 heroes, withstand storms, and even outpace the fastest sea monsters. But Argus didn't work alone. He had a little help from none other than Athena, the goddess of wisdom, war, and, as it turns out, nautical design. Athena blessed the project and gifted Argus a special piece of magical oak from the sacred grove of Dodona. This wasn't just any wood, this oak could talk. Literally. It was said to speak prophecies and warnings, guiding the ship and its crew through danger. Imagine having a ship with its own built-in oracle. It was like sailing with an ancient GPS that cryptically whispered, "Turn back now, or beware the storm ahead." The ship was named Argo after its builder, and it quickly became more than a vessel. It was a symbol of divine favor and mortal craftsmanship combined. 50 oars lined its sides, one for each hero rower, and its sleek design let it slice through water faster than anything else afloat. This wasn't just a ship. The Argo was a character in the story itself, alive with magic and purpose, ready to carry Jason and his Argonauts into legend. All right, if you're loving this epic journey so far, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to DD History for more legendary tales and heroic adventures. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment of the Argonauts' wild voyage. Trust me, the best and craziest parts are just around the corner. Now let's set sail." The day had come. With the mighty Argo gleaming in the morning sun, Jason and the Argonauts prepared to leave the safety of Iolcus' harbor and face the wild, unpredictable sea. The air buzzed with excitement, nerves, and just a hint of, what did we get ourselves into? 50 heroes, each legendary in their own right, took their spots along the sleek Argo. 50 oars dipped into the water, ready to cut through waves and storms alike. Heracles cracked his knuckles, eager for action. Orpheus tuned his lyre, fingers dancing lightly over the strings as he prepared to calm the seas with music. Atalanta stretched her legs, ready to sprint if needed. Even the winged brothers, Zetes and Calais, checked their wings, not for flying yet, but just in case. Jason stood at the prow, near the magical oak beam from Dodona, the ship's talking prow. He placed a steady hand on the wood, feeling a quiet vibration, like the ship was alive and watching. The oak whispered warnings and advice, sometimes clear, sometimes riddles, but always reminding them that this journey was unlike any other. As the Argo slipped away from the harbor, the crew felt the salty breeze on their faces and the swell of the open sea beneath them. The sky was bright, the water sparkling. It was hard to believe that danger lurked just beyond the horizon. But Greek seas are never peaceful for long. Within the first few days, the Argonauts encountered their first challenges: the unpredictable weather, the strange calls of seabirds, and the ever-watchful eyes of gods who didn't always want the quest to succeed. Hera, the goddess who favored Jason, sent gentle winds to speed their journey. But not all gods were so friendly. Poseidon, god of the sea, was known for his temper and love of stirring up storms. The Argonauts had to be ready for sudden squalls and waves that could toss the Argo like a toy. Luckily, Argus's design held strong, and the rowers worked in perfect rhythm, their oars slicing through the water to keep them steady. Orpheus's music often rose above the roar of the sea, calming nerves and even the storms themselves. It was like a magical shield, soothing the sea and the crew alike. Not long into their voyage, the Argonauts found themselves sailing near a strange and eerie land, a place shadowed by dark cliffs and swirling mists. This was the domain of the blind prophet Phineus, a man cursed by the gods and tormented daily by the Harpies. But what exactly are Harpies? Imagine a creature that's part woman, part bird, with razor-sharp talons, wild tangled hair, and a shriek that could send shivers down the spine of even the bravest warrior. These monstrous bird women were notorious for swooping down from the sky, stealing food, ruining meals, and generally being absolute nightmares. Phineus, once a wise and powerful seer, had been punished by Zeus. Every time he tried to eat, the Harpies would descend like winged bullies, snatching his food away and leaving a trail of filth and destruction. It was an endless torment. He was starving but couldn't fend off these relentless creatures. When Jason and the Argonauts arrived, they saw the scene firsthand. Phineus sat hunched and weary, his eyes closed, as Harpies cackled overhead. Suddenly, with terrifying speed, they dove down, claws raking across the table, grabbing food and disappearing into the clouds. The Argonauts knew something had to be done. Jason turned to his winged allies, Zetes and Calais, who stretched their powerful wings and prepared to take flight. These brothers were the only heroes who could match the Harpies in the air. Their wings beat with thunderous power as they lifted off the deck of the Argo, soaring toward the shrieking Harpies. What followed was a breathtaking chase through the skies. The Harpies twisted and turned, screeching and trying to shake off their pursuers. Zetes and Calais flapped faster, closing the distance, their eyes locked on the winged fiends. At one point, a Harpy lunged, talons reaching out, but Calais dodged with a swift dive. The brothers worked in perfect tandem, coordinating their attacks and driving the Harpies back. It was a high-stakes aerial battle with the fate of Phineus, and possibly the whole quest, hanging in the balance. Finally, worn down and outmatched, the Harpies fled, shrieking their defeat as they disappeared beyond the horizon. Phineus, now free from his tormentors, gratefully shared his knowledge with Jason. He warned them about the deadly dangers that lay ahead, the clashing rocks that could crush their ship, and the monstrous challenges guarding the path to Colchis. This encounter wasn't just a victory, it was a crucial turning point. It showed the Argonauts that the gods' curses and monsters wouldn't be easily overcome, but together their strengths could prevail. Life aboard the Argo was not all battles and monsters. With so many heroes packed on one ship, there was bound to be a mix of personalities. Heracles, the strongest but sometimes easily distracted hero, occasionally went off on his own side adventures, leaving others to hold down the ship. Atalanta's competitive streak meant she often raced the waves or challenged crew members to tests of speed and skill. Orpheus, with his calm demeanor, kept the peace with his music, reminding everyone that cooperation was key to survival. The magical oak prow was a constant presence, whispering warnings, sometimes vague and mysterious. "Beware the clashing rocks," it would say. "Turn back or doom awaits." Jason and the Argonauts learned to listen carefully to the cryptic advice, knowing that ignoring it could mean disaster. The voyage was only just beginning, and already the Argonauts faced a sea filled with wonders and dangers alike. So there you have it. Jason and his crew of legendary heroes have set sail aboard the Magical Argo, faced their first real test against the terrifying Harpies, and gained a valuable ally in the blind prophet Phineus. It's clear this journey won't be easy. Between vengeful gods, deadly monsters, and mysterious prophecies from a talking ship, the Argonauts will need every ounce of courage, skill, and teamwork they've got. But this is only the beginning. Ahead lie even greater dangers. The infamous clashing rocks that crush anything trying to pass, monstrous guardians of Colchis, and challenges that will push Jason and his crew to their limits. Will Jason and the Argonauts survive the perils of the sea and claim the Golden Fleece? Or will the gods' curses and fierce monsters prove too much, even for Greece's greatest heroes? If you want to find out what happens next, the thrilling escape through the clashing rocks, the battles yet to come, and the secrets of Colchis, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss part 3 of Jason and the Argonauts. Thanks for joining DD History today, where every myth is an adventure waiting to be told.